right, so this is a fan Q&A. We had questions sent from all over the world. And I guess we'll start with, how are you feeling? You had a vocal injury recently.
Well, I feel a bit like a sort of spooked horse. I'm really jittery.
Well, you sounded great nonetheless.
Yeah, the voice is working. The brain, I don't know.
I'm glad we're going to be talking then for the next 20 minutes.
Yes, it's going to be interesting.
First question comes from Poland. Dominika Kenderska is her name, and it's a question in regards to the voice. In some interviews you said that you must be careful for your voice and you must be careful what you eat. So what do you eat that's good for your voice?
It's not really what you do eat as a question of what you don't drink,
so what do you avoid?
Eat, shout. It's pretty much... being a singer is a funny thing. I mean, basically, you should be sitting in a humidified room only drinking water, being silent all the time. But that is impossible. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's just the usual stuff. It's kind of boring. You just don't drink alcohol, vinegar, don't shout, don't go out. You know, you have to choose. You can't live like that forever. You have to kind of... On tour, I try not to drink and, you know, don't go to big shouty clubs. I'm
glad you mentioned don't drink, because that leads me to the next question from Portland, Oregon. Francesca Pagni, tell us a bit about your writing process for both lyrics and composition. I figured let's talk about No Light, No Light, because I hear it was written kind of tipsy, maybe.
Not that one, actually.
No? Okay.
Quite a few of the other ones, but not that one.
I'm glad. You're dispelling internet rumors. That's amazing. So this was not written on a tour bus in Amsterdam after a night out?
Oh, yeah, it was. It was. But that was the intro. The intro was written years ago. It was at Rob's birthday, actually. And we'd gone to an...
Who's Rob?
Rob, the guitarist.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Who was sitting just there, where you are now. We'd been to an all-night restaurant for Rob's birthday called Midnights in Brussels, which we have never been able to find again.
So we think, places.
Yeah, we think we might have imagined it, or it might not have been real, or it was like a secret portal that we'll never find again. But, or you know, we just lost the address. But we went there, and then we got on the tour bus to Amsterdam, and you know, we had a party, and at about 4 a.m, me and Izza started composing this song in the front of the bus, and we recorded the sounds of the bus, and it was just it was the intro for No Light, No Light. And then, yes, we did try. Well, this is our work sort of ethic, is we've written the intro. Let's celebrate. So we could only find a sports bar that would give us Midori, though. It wasn't the biggest celebration.
Next question is from Ashley Seymour in Montague, Michigan. When did you discover that singing was your passion? Did you always know?
I've always loved singing, I think, but it was more of a question of how I was going to do it than I always wanted to. I was constantly singing around the house, and you know, my whole life was a sort of chorus of "shut up" from my family and at school and in hallways and so many like corridors and stuff by myself singing. I've serenaded quite a few corridors in my time.
I think we all. Yours probably sounded better than mine, though.
Stairwells are the best for acoustics.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Good to know. Maybe that's what I've been missing all these years.
That and bathroom tiles.
Okay. Speaking, it wasn't.
Yes.
Okay. You knew where I was going. Let's talk about the harp behind you here, because harps don't come out in rock and roll too often. So when did you decide, and why did you decide that you wanted a harp in your band?
Well, it was kind of a fluke, really. We did a lot of... when we first started writing songs like Dog Days and Cosmic Love, we had this... We were so fond of it. It actually got burnt in a fire. This isn't a person. This is a keyboard. But all our equipment set fire when we were touring in Europe, and we called it... I'm going to swear. We used to call it the shit keyboard, because it cost like £100, but it had all these like clunky sounds on it that didn't... And I thought there was something so fascinating about what like a bad electronic instrument's idea of a big beautiful thing like that sounded like. So we'd have like timpani, but it would sound completely weird, and harp. And so the intro for Dog Days I wrote on that harp effect. Well, it's pretty simple. For those of you that have heard it, it's just one note over and over again. It's no Beethoven, but I mean, I try. And then, so we'd done all this stuff on the harp effect, and then one day there was a guy walking past the studio with what looked like a telephone box wrapped in a blanket. But it was a harp, and Izza got him in and put harp all over everything that we'd done, and that was Tom. And then because there was harp on everything, we had to have him in the band. So thank you, Tom, for coming with us.
Amazing. Madison Murphy asks, why don't you crowd surf anymore? Did you used to crowd surf a lot? Did this happen?
I did. I'd say right now I do sort of crowd running.
Okay.
So kind of, it's fun. It's almost like a sort of every day's a sports day. You have to run, see how far you can get to the back of the crowd, and then how fast you can come back to the stage. But now we're playing I do love to crowd surf. But we're playing quite a lot of amphitheatres with people in chairs, and I don't think there's anything more awkward than a sort of people in chairs and someone trying to crowd surf on them. It's not a good look. It's like going to the library and jumping off a bookshelf.
That's awesome. Frederick Montero in Brazil. Look at that one. That's far away from. What song was most difficult to write?
Never Let Me Go.
How come?
It's kind of a funny thing, tricks in the title, really. I couldn't really let it go. It went through so many different changes, and it became like this gigantic sort of sea monster with millions of legs, and there were so many ways that it could go, and it's like trying to fit them all into one. It's like Pandora's box. I was trying to get it all back in, all the different ideas, and then you lose track of it, and I just couldn't see what it was anymore. It actually took I wasn't even going to put it on the album. And but my little sister Grace, loved it so much, and she persuaded me to, and she loved the original version, and so she persuaded me to put that on the album.
There's another song, because a lot of people ask this one, and the Florence and the Machine Army made me ask this one. Do you ever plan to release the demo of Paper Massacre?
Yeah,
everyone wants the song for some reason.
It's about 5 seconds long.
Well, I think they want a full version of it, though.
I do like it. I was listening to it. It's quite good. Maybe I'll fix it up for fun.
Okay. Adriana Polchin in Elk, Poland says, you've got a very unique style when it comes to clothing and accessories. Have you ever thought about establishing your own products line, jewellery or perfume?
Products line?
It's a products line.
From that reaction, you can probably tell that it hasn't crossed my mind that much.
Not so much.
I don't know. I like clothes. So
there you go.
But I haven't thought about it. that much. A lot of the clothes I wear seem so sort of idiosyncratic to myself. I'm not sure who wants a paisley waistcoat. Do you know what I mean? But if there's a market for them.
Well, there's a follow-up to that. I was interviewing Alanis Morissette this morning. You know her?
I love her.
She has a question for you about your style. Yeah. She prefaced it with, it's a shallow one, but she wanted to ask it anyway.
I wanted to see her. She was playing in my hometown in Brixton Academy, and I was away, so I missed her. I wanted to see her so much. She was my absolute hero growing up.
That's amazing.
Not even Jagged Little Pill. All the rest of the records, I had the whole back catalogue. I was like, oop.
And you're both in Toronto now.
Such an oop. Is she here?
Maybe. I don't know if I should be answering that.
Where does she live?
Anyway.
No, I was such a total Uber fan, growing up. So it's exciting that she's asking.
Yeah, she's got a question. Okay. Do you shop on your own, or do you have a stylist with you? You have an amazing sense of style.
I do a lot of shopping on my own. It's a funny thing. The areas where we go to find the antique shops and the vintage stores usually takes you to kind of a nice part of town as well. So it's a good way to kind of, if you look for the vintage store, it's a good way to kind of scope out a city. I was thinking of even making a little. We kind of know all the different places now in different cities. I should get a travel guide together or something. But that's for another time. When my product line is out. But yeah, so I do a lot of shopping on my own, and then I have a really lovely stylist called Aldine Johnson who helps get me outfits for the stage, and when I have to do big scary things like the Oscars, because I couldn't deal with that by myself.
What was that like? Let's talk about that.
It was very surreal. But very exciting, and kind of one of those moments where you're offered it and you just think, well, when else might I get an opportunity to go? So I'm going to go. But yeah, it was, there was the big dress and the carpet, and it was kind of, the red carpet was the kind of surreal bit. We didn't actually go in because I was performing, I was backstage a lot. I've seen a lot of the insides of dressing rooms, basically.
That's the end? Okay.
That was the Oscars.
All right. Sarah Hall.
I watched it basically on TV from the dressing room, underneath the Oscars.
Sarah Hall in Queensland, Australia, asks, what are your 3 most important goals for your personal life and your 3 most important goals for your music career?
Hello, Mum. Oh, mum chat. As soon as I walk through the door at home, no matter what time it is, I might have just even come back from lunch. She's just like, eat something and go to sleep. It's 2 in the afternoon. That's quite a big question. I think it's funny when you're on tour, you almost have to... I'm still trying to move out of my mum's house. So far I'm
You're
still...
never home. When are you home?
Yeah, well, I've been on tour basically since I was 21, so I'm still sleeping on the mattress on the floor of my mum's house. I have found a house and very slowly moved... There's got no furniture in it, but I'm slowly moving into that, so that's a big sort of life step.
Absolutely.
But on tour, you kind of live very much day to day. You know, you have to kind of... Time is in strange sections. You just have to... Each tour is like a 2-month block that you have to kind of get through. And I don't think I'll really be able to think about that long goals until I kind of reach December and everything calms down.
We got to go soon, so we're going to do something called 5 Questions in a second. But there was one question I wanted to get to about a third record, and where is it? Is there anything you would like from the new album to inherit from its predecessors? Have you started thinking about a third record?
I get quite... It's funny, like the process of making a record, it's almost like you sort of create it in your head before even doing anything. And it takes on all these different forms. And I'm quite excited about it because I feel like in some ways I made the sound of Lungs whole with Ceremonials. So the ideas that I'd formulated, maybe, you know, with Dog Days and Cosmic Love, then went on to embellish in Ceremonials. And so now I feel like they've made quite a nice set. And that almost clears the slate for something, you know, the sound feels quite established now, so who knows where it could go.
Cool. So we do something called 5 Questions. 5 quick questions, 1-word answers.
Okay,
Yeah?
it's going to get weird.
Road or studio?
You can't choose. If you're in the studio, you want to be in the road and vice versa.
Okay.
That was loads of words.
It's all right. Lennon or McCartney? I know. I ask everyone these.
Lennon.
Okay. When you hear a song, what usually hits you first? Lyrics, melody, or rhythm?
It's all at once, really, isn't it? I think.
For you? Sure. Song you've written you're most proud of? Doesn't need to be 1 word.
I think maybe at the moment, Breath of Life.
Cool. And in 1 word, Florence and the Machine.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, that's a good one. I like that. You gonna go with that? With oh dear?
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you very much. Florence!